Fire marshal says tonight that these Tesla charging stations in the town of Littleton were intentionally set on fire. You can see them really badly burned.
It's been a pretty bad year so far for Elon Musk, and it looks like it's about to get worse.
I am become meme.
So it is safe to say that a large part of Tesla's immense valuation and success over the last few years is largely just down to Elon Musk himself. He's very good at marketing, and as a person has become so synonymous with the Tesla brand that a huge part of the company's stock price has ultimately just been down to people buying into him rather than the company. And that goes for sales of the cars too.
I sometimes just come here and stare at the cars for hours.
A ton of Tesla's sales have always come from people buying into Elon's vision and wanting to support it, especially the techy Silicon Valley type people who historically always looked up to him as this godlike figure.
It's really all about technology, and I think it comes down to we are not Tesla fanboys, we are technology product future fanboys, and Tesla happens to embody all of that. That's why Elon Musk is like my idol and someone who I consider, business mentor, the guy to look up to, a hero of mine.
But as is often the case, it's hard to separate art from the artist, and that's exactly what's been happening with Teslas. I'm sure we've all seen the anti-Elon Tesla Club stickers and the like online, with a huge portion of Tesla's customer base now regretfully having to drive around in a car that represents the antithesis of everything they stand for, which is frankly hilarious. Not only that, but if they feel compelled to sell their Tesla, they'll be facing some absolutely devastating depreciation. In the UK, for example, you can pick up a fairly low mileage Model 3 any day of the week for 15 grand. If I sort by distance from me, take a look. That's just the going rate now, and they're still sat at these prices. If you were unfortunate enough to have bought one new in cash or as a hire purchase, congratulations, because you've lost at least 70% of your cash in a couple of years. That's even worse than something like a Range Rover Sport, another famously poor car for retaining its value. And it's not just second-hand models that simply aren't shifting. Take a look at these figures for international Tesla sales since the start of 2025. Australia down 35%, across the EU down 50%. Even in California, the Tesla capital of the world, sales are still down 12%. There is, of course, also a big movement seemingly based around London who are absolutely hell-bent on making sure every single person sees their guerrilla marketing, whether online or in person. For a single person as opposed to a corporation to garner this much criticism is frankly impressive, especially since the bloke has practically nothing to do with the UK. With posters like this being strewn about the place, I think it's unsurprising that car dealers are being left with a load of depreciating, unwanted Teslas sat rotting on their forecourts. So it seems like sales are down big time, and Tesla's stock price is following a similar trend. From its high in December amid the excitement for a Trump presidency, it reached $480 and has since halved down to as low as $222 a share. That's a massive blow to Elon Musk's net worth, and it's currently still sat at sub 250, making Tesla shares the same price they were at the end of 2020. On top of that, Tesla is having to worry about mass-scale protests, since protesters have decided that that is the most direct way to affect him.
People are actually lighting the cars on fire? Tesla burns to a crisp.
In Salem, a man is facing federal charges after investigators connected him to two separate incidents at a Tesla dealership. Police say he threw Molotov cocktails and shot up the building. This comes amid dozens of reports of vandalism involving Teslas across the country.
Now, I absolutely don't condone any form of damage to private property, but tons of videos of Teslas sat outside showrooms getting busted up have been posted online, which is yet again going to be a pretty serious blow to their bottom line. It seems like the motive of most of these protesters, as I say, the ones not just busting up the cars, is that they want to inform potential buyers of why they shouldn't be buying them. Imagine the public shame you would feel driving one off the forecourt in front of an angry mob. It's intimidating enough to dissuade a lot of people, and I've got no doubt that that's going to further affect their sales figures. Going from terrible to even more terrible, Trump came out publicly in support of Elon and called the Tesla boycott illegal. I have no idea where he got that idea from, since Absolutely no one is forced to buy a Tesla, free market and all that, you should know that. But in support of his poor friend who's being bullied, he decided to stage a fucking Tesla ad for Elon on the White House lawn. In an astonishing display of a complete lack of backbone, he made this whole song and dance about buying a Tesla for full price, no discount, and how amazing they are. And, it's all space age. There's a computer in the middle, and it's just surreal to watch. It feels like something that wouldn't be out of place on an episode of Brass Eye.
So, are we cruel to hunt foxes?
The fox feels nothing. It's made of string.
Oh, and if you still want 100% on whether this was just to drum up some PR for the US auto industry as a whole, or if it was fully just an Elon Musk glazing session, here's a picture of the receipt in his hand. That's right, it is practically just a state-sponsored car ad. Anyway, to summarize, Tesla is doing pretty terribly, and it's mostly Elon's fault. Especially outside of the US, it's just a default opinion at this point that everyone dislikes Elon Musk. There are few things in such a divisive world that most people can agree on in the UK right now, but apart from Liz Truss, it's a pretty unanimous belief. Even in fairly conservative circles, it's hard to find people who still like the guy, and it just keeps getting worse. In fact, his public approval is so appallingly bad right now that we've seen an uptick in Keir Starmer's approval rating. He's essentially proven that given enough money and dedication, it's possible to bypass the need for said public approval by brown-nosing Trump and donating hundreds of millions of dollars to him. Frankly, this isn't surprising. It happens in almost all countries, let's be honest, but to see it on full display so blatantly has definitely rubbed people up the wrong way. Now, I dislike the Democrats too, but when the biggest criticisms thrown at them are often based around, corruption, insider trading, handing out taxpayers' funds to their buddies' corporations, it's the pot calling the kettle black. So there's the whole Doge drama unfolding as we speak as well, which, although on paper might sound promising to some extent, has resulted in a few classics like laying off a ton of emergency workers that work for national parks, or sacking nuclear safety workers, only to immediately regret it and come crawling back. And then, oh god, there's the whole Roman salute thing he did, which again, regardless of if it really was intentional, is a complete PR nightmare. Anyway, I've gone off on a bit of a tangent here, but hopefully now, if you weren't sure why Elon Musk is seemingly public enemy number one, you have a bit more context. There are far too many individual cringeworthy incidents and statements to break down in a single video, but at this rate, this definitely won't be my only one. The people in this whole fallout I feel sorry for especially are the small independent car dealers losing tens of thousands on their stagnant fleets of used Teslas that people have traded in, as well as the Tesla employees who are allegedly not under the best working conditions. Anyway, what do you think? Are Teslas now in the bargain basement ready to get snapped up, or are you going to steer clear? I must admit, as much as Elon is not exactly my cup of tea, a Model 3 performance for well under 20k is quite a good deal.